General Radahn is a demigod who fought against Millennia the Severed during the Shattering, but he was driven to insanity due to his illness of Scarlet Rot. Despite this, he fights using the Scar-Scourge Greatsword and the Lying Greatbow to discharge powerful gravitational style attacks. But is his build any good, and can we make any improvements? I'm Bitesized Otaku, and in this video, we'll be cosplaying as General Radahn and exploring his build in both his vanilla form and improved version. But, like the video, and give it to me bite-sized. So for the vanilla version of the build, General Radahn wears the Radahn set, which by default will provide us with brilliant defense and an impressive 72 poise. He also uses 2 weapons during his encounter. To start, we have the Scar-Scourge Greatsword, which comes with the weapon art Starcaller Cry. This skill would unleash a gravitational force, pulling enemies in before unleashing an explosion as the weapon crashes to earth. This weapon benefits mostly from strength scaling, but gains minor benefit from dexterity and intelligence investments. Next we have the Lying Greatbow, which utilises Radahn's spear, and this comes with the weapon art Radahn's Rain, which summons a hail of arrows from the sky to fall on an enemy's location. This weapon will benefit from strength and dexterity equally, and our Radahn's arrows will receive a 20% damage bonus from the Lying Greatbow. Now you might be wondering, why not use sorceries like Collapsing Stars or Rock Sling, as Radahn uses some variation of this? Well, I figured that the bow and sword would be better from the vanilla version, as we could then just focus on testing the bow's viability, but we'll revisit spells later on. Then lastly, I've opted for these stats on a level 137 Vagabond, but how does it play in practice? So we have access to a powerful set of greatswords which deal fantastic damage with brilliant hyper armor when striking. This makes the weapon perfect for trailing attacks and on larger enemies like bosses, who will likely deal massive damage due to their inability to effectively dodge. The great bow is brilliant for point blank firing when trying to roll catch at close range, and you can use a skill to rain arrows on your enemies, which is more effective on standing opponents or larger bosses than it is on quick moving targets. And our defense is brilliant, meaning we will tank a few hits before needing to refill our flask or take up a more defensive tactic. But there are some problems. Our greatsword moveset is terrible, slow, and can be difficult to aim, as well as leaving us exposed to backstabs or quicker strikes during the weapon art. We also have shorter range, making it difficult to hit enemies out of our reach. And due to our attacks being so slow, it can be difficult to finish off enemies who will play defensively, as our strikes take years to wind up, resulting in them striking us down with a smaller and quicker weapon. So let's make some adjustments. Due to the fact that we're cosplaying as General Radahn, I'll have to deal with the limitation of not replacing my greatsword, as these are a key part of its aesthetic. But I will ditch the bow, as he only uses that for the first ranged segment of the boss fight, then never takes it out again. Therefore, to get around this limitation, let's add additional equipment which can plug the gaps in our setup, hopefully resulting in a more dynamic build. Let's keep the armor and the greatsword, but ditch the greatbow, then add in the meteoric oreblade. This will give us a quick striking, strength and intelligence scaling katana that follows the gravity theme. Its weapon art, Gravitas, acts similarly to Starcaller Cry, drawing people in with a gravitational pull for damage. Next, let's add in the meteorite staff, which doesn't need to be upgraded, so it's great for early game spells, and we'll use it to cast Gravity Well, Collapsing Stars and Rock Sling, which is similar to what Radahn would have used in his second phase, except his Rock Sling acts more like homing glint blades, and he doesn't use a staff. For our selection of talismans, I figured why not use the following, which will help our damage output, equip load, poise and stat distribution. And lastly, for our stats, I've gone with the setup on screen on the level 137 Vagabond. So while being able to benefit from our Scar-Scourge Greatsword weapon art, we also have ranged spells which can be useful for punishing spellcasters, defensive players, or pressuring low health opponents. The damage output is decent, but the speed for casting and firing the spells is fairly slow, only aided by the gravitational spell's natural homing ability, which can hit or miss depending on your opponent. Although, this won't be an issue in PvE, where most enemies don't have the preservation skills to dodge, and we can deal brilliant stagger damage. Then our meteoric oreblade acts as a fantastic striking weapon, which can punish enemies who get too close, and the weapon art can truly combo with a charged heavy, dealing massive damage. In summary, this build takes Radahn's equipment and builds on its gravity theme, adding in ranged options and a quick striking katana to compensate for a slow, shorter ranged attack set which dishes out high damage and can be easily countered by quick opponents. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and of course subscribe. This is Bitesized Otaku, and I hope you enjoyed.